Okay, what do you know about multiplying decimals? What do you already know about multiplying decimals? Rupert.
The decimal doesn't have to be lined up.
Absolutely correct. You do not line up the decimals. What else do you know about multiplying decimals? Kaylee?
Most of the time, like, you want to put the smaller one on the bottom.
I like that idea, just a kind of a strategy there. Anything else about that you already know about multiplying decimals? Anything else that you already know? Miss Jaden.
If there's a smaller number and there's like spaces left over, you can put zeros to fill the blanks in.
Oh, I don't want you doing that when you're multiplying. Do not want you to add zeros when you're multiplying to make them have the same number of places. That doesn't work for you. What do you know, Chance?
Multiply like you normally do.
Okay. Well, that's true. And if I do that, how do I know where to put the decimal in the product? How do I know where to put the decimal in the product? Josie?
However many over is on the top and however many it's over on the bottom, plus them, and then you go over on the answer.
Okay, Josie, you are describing that correctly. But I think I love what you're saying because you're right. But how do I make that where everybody understands? Because I get what you're saying. But how can I write it where everybody's going to understand? I'm going to let you try it, Ty. Mark.
The number of decimals that you have behind the numbers that you are multiplying, you put that many, you add them together and put that many on the bottom, or on the solution.
Okay, count the digits. That's the numbers. Behind the decimal. Then place in the Now see if this makes sense to you. Count the digits behind the decimal, then place the decimal in the product with the same number of digits. Does that make sense? Okay? So these are some notes that you may need to put on your paper copies now that you have them. Okay? I want you to put this one away so you can pay attention to this, okay? And you know, you guys already know all the necessary things. We just need to practice it some. You already knew it. Now we're going to put it into practice. You need to be taking notes. Good thing, Garden.
I just wrote that was wrong on this already. I just wrote it on notebook.
That's fine. That's fine. If you would rather use notebook paper, that's fine. Now, if you don't get all the notes down, where can you go to be able to get the rest of the notes?
Google Classroom.
Google Classroom, because it's gonna be there. Okay, and that's kind of the reason why I do that, is so that we don't have to wait a long period of time, so we can get through this lesson and you'll have time to work. Okay?
What's after behind the number 4?
That's the abbreviation for decimal, DEC, or DECI,
I put this.
okay? And I probably should have said place DECI in the product with the same number of digits. I thought it, but I didn't write it.
I did that a lot.
Me too. Someday when you become a teacher, you'll understand how you're thinking about teaching it so much that your brain and your hand doesn't always work together. Because I get ahead of myself in my thoughts.
I do that. Like I'll say the answer and then.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna move on. You can, if you didn't get it, you can get it from Google Classroom or from your neighbor. Okay, here's the rules, specifically as it is in the textbook. Multiplying decimals by whole numbers. Multiply as you would with the whole numbers. Then count the number of decimal places in the decimal factor. That's what we said, right? The product has the same number of decimal places. Now, I have a question. Do I need to count the unseen decimal of that whole number? Do I need to count the decimal of a whole number? Why not? You're right, I don't. Why not? Why not, Chance?
Because it doesn't have any other places.
Good, it doesn't have any numbers behind the decimal, so I don't have to count it. Good job. Okay, now a while ago, somebody said, well, why don't we take the number, like, I'm going to take this one here. Why don't I do this? Why do I not? This is a no. I wouldn't. Why do I not do that? Why do I not do it, Brayden?
Because the question wasn't with like any zeros in it, so there wasn't any decimal on 7, and you don't want to line it up because then you'll miscount the decimals.
Correct. Do not line up. Don't
Way
do it.
longer.
It's going to take you longer, but it's also going to give you the wrong answer. Because now you would have 4 digits behind the decimal in the product and not just 2 digits. So it makes a huge difference. You do not do that. Okay? So let's see one. We're going to work this one together. I have 3 and 91 hundredths times 6. Could I write that as 6 times 3 and 91 hundredths? Would it make a difference if I wrote it this way? Would that make a difference at all? No, it doesn't, but it just makes a difference in the way that I have to multiply it. So I don't like to do it. As somebody said earlier, typically take the smaller number and put it on the bottom because it makes it easier. So I'm not going to do that.
You want me to go make the young man?
Would you please make the young man turn that off? That's twice. He's still safe, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay, what is 6 times 1?
6.
What is 6 times 9?
54.
54, good. See, my brain's thinking and my hand's not writing what I want it to. What is 6 times 3?
18.
Plus 5 more.
23.
Now, I have 2 numbers in the factors behind the decimal, so I need 1, 2 in my solution, so my decimal goes right there. Okay? The multiplication was the same. I never even worried about that decimal until I got the product, did I? It's just there. It's hanging out. Okay? But I didn't have to worry about it. Okay? I want you to do this one. do that one. Some of you have already got it done. You can. We'll talk about that, but yes, you can. Good. Good. Nice job. Not yet. It's on my list though. Sometimes it takes me a little bit. I saw it and you are correct. Okay, what is the final answer on this one? Somebody tell me what the final answer of B is. What's it gonna be, Chloe?
0 and 48 thousandths.
CHOLE.
Correct. Oh, 48 thousandths.
48 thousandths. Good. That's the answer. I didn't want it spelled out. I want it said, okay? I was asked when I was walking around, does it matter if I write it with that 0 there or if I write it this way? Are these two answers the same thing?
Yes.
Yes. The leading 0, this is what I call the leading 0. The leading 0 does not matter. Now, if I took the 0 out here, if I wrote that, is that going to be the same thing?
No.
No, this does not work. That 0 in the tenths place has to be there. It'd be like saying 102 and not putting the 0 in the tenths place in the whole number, 102. Because then you'd have 12. Wouldn't be the same thing, would it? Okay? Good. How high is a stack of dimes? If I have 100 dimes and one dime is 1 35 millimeters thick, how high is a stack of dimes? What do I need to do to this, Emmy? Or Esri?
So, I find an easier way to do it. I take the 2 zeros and I move the decimal place back 2 times, and my answer was 135.
You took the 2 zeros and you moved them to the right 2 places, and you said, well, that's 135 millimeters, right? Millimeter, yeah, mm. That is true. But if you don't know that's what you're doing, what is she actually doing in order to get that solved? She's right. She can move that decimal 2 places. Okay? What is she actually doing? Jaden?
She's multiplying by 1.
Multiplying by
100.
by 100. Good. She's taking 1 35 hundredths times 100. And she can put the 2 zeros there. And I have 1, 2. So my decimal has to be there. Do I get the same thing either way?
Yes.
Does that work for anything other than multiplying by 100?
Yeah, like 10.
10, it would work for. I agree. Would it work for 1,000?
Yes.
Would it work for 1,000,000?
Yes.
How do I do it then? I have to know how many zeros, and I move the decimal to the right that many places. Now, somebody just said, does it work for 200? Would it work for 200?
No.
No.
No, because 1 is multiplying every one of them by itself, but then you just have your extra zeros.
That's smart. I have smart kids. I'm so excited. No, it doesn't work because the multiplicative identity property says 1 times any number is that number. So we're multiplying it by 1 and then adding my 0 places. Perfect. Okay? Tyler.
What if you did the same thing as you would with 100 but times it by 2?
Well, you could, but I think you would run the risk of forgetting you had to multiply it by 2. So I'm gonna have to tell you no, okay? Don't want you doing that. Okay, multiplying a decimal by a decimal. Does the rule change at all?
No.
No. We still count up the number of digits behind the decimal, and we multiply. Okay? We move it forward. Let's check this one out. I have 4 and 8/10 times 7 and 2/10. 2 times 8 is 16, carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. 7 times 8 is 56, carry my 5. 7 times 4 is 28 plus 5, 32. I'm going to add it just like I normally would. That should be 33, okay. 9 and 6 is 15, am I correct?
Yep.
Carry my 1. 3 and 1 is 4, and I have a 3. How many digits are behind the decimal? How many digits? How many digits do I have here, Emmy? 2. I've got 1 here, I've got 1 there. So I have 1, 2, and there's my decimal. The multiplication, I just multiply. And then I count how many digits I need to move that decimal bottom or in front of. Piece of cake. Now, here's the thing. Can you multiply? Ladies and gentlemen, can you multiply?
Yes.
Okay, so slow down on your homework to get them right, okay? Do B. You have B by itself. How many digits? Otherwise, you're right. Yes. Yes. It should count your digits behind the decimals. Look up here again. There's 1. How many's over the second one? So how many altogether? I don't see. Oh, there I see. Good job. Good. Good. Where's your decimal at, Mommy? Okay, how many digits? Okay, look at what you wrote there and look at what was originally there. And see if you've written the same problem. Yes. All right. Now, I'm going to do this one because I want to show you something. As I walked around, do we all agree this 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 3 is 15?
Yes.
Do we all agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I multiply 3 and 1/10 by 0, that's really just 0, isn't it?
Yeah.
So can I stop right there?
Yeah.
Okay. And how many digits are behind the decimal? 1, 2, 3. So there's mine. Same thing. I can put the 0 out here if I want to. It's the same answer, but I don't have to have it. Okay? Is that a little bit quicker than going, oh, well, I need to make sure that I multiply by 0. And I'm going to go here and here, and I've got that 0, and then I got a 0, and then I got a 0. And then I got to add them all together. Do I still get the same answer?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did I save myself some headache?
Yep.
Sure. Okay, and you can too. All right? What is the value? Oh, look at this. What am I going to do? Oh my goodness. It looks so hard. What do I need to do? And I saw somebody mouth, it's easy. Talk to me, Jaden.
Okay. It's the same way with like the thing we did at the beginning of the year. You start with the parentheses and then you do the rest after that. It's PIMDOS.
She said, same way, start with the parentheses. I hear Roper say, using PEMDAS. Okay, so let's start out with the PEMDAS. So I've got 4.5 4 5/10 minus 3 175 thousandths. Oh my goodness. Can I subtract that? I don't have the same number of places. What do I need to do, Chloe?
Add 0.
Add some zeros in there. Good. So then I'm going to get that's what I got. Did you get that?
Yes.
1 325 thousandths. Woo woo! Am I done?
No.
No, why not?
Because you have to multiply it by 2 and 44,000.
I got, remember we had the parentheses, and when I have something like this, the parentheses means, in this case now, to multiply. Okay. 1 325 thousandths times 2 44 hundredths. Yuck. I don't like it, but I can do it. Monique, 4 times 5 equals what? 20. Carry my 2. 4 times 2 is?
8.
Plus 2 is? 10. Good. Carried the 1. 4 times 3 is? 12 plus 1 is 13. Carry the 1. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
All right. So Roper, help me out. 4 times 5 is?
20.
20. Carry the 2. 4 times 2 is?
8.
8 plus 2 is?
10.
10. Carry the 1. 4 times 3 is?
12.
Plus 1 is? 13. Carry the 1. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is? 5. Good job. All right, I need another helper. Josie, will you help me? 2 times 5 is?
10,
10. Carry the 1 now. 2 times 2 is?
4
Plus 1 is?
5,
Good. 2 times 3 is?
6,
And 2 times 1 is?
2,
Can I add them all up now? I've got 0, 0, 3, 13, 12, and 3. How many
5.
digits need to be behind that 0? How many, Kaylee?
5. So the decimal is on
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The answer is A.
So, now if I wanted to read this, this is 3 233 thousandths, if I want to read it that way. Or I could read it as 3 200, wait a minute, 23,300 hundred thousandths. I'm not going to do that, am I? Final answer then should have been, okay, I had to do some steps. It took me some time. But is it doable?
Yes.
Just because you see something that looks like that, don't freak out. Take a deep breath, relax, and do it one piece at a time, okay? How do you eat a pizza? Do you stuff the whole pizza in your mouth?
No.
I know.
I'm thinking you should eat it one piece at a time though, probably, right?
Sometimes.
Okay. Number 10. What are we going to do
You're gonna
first? Raise your hand and don't look. What am I doing first? Good. I want to do that first. Okay? Nine times 8 is 72, am I correct?
Yep.
Plus 1 is 73. 2, 8, 8, 15. Is it 15 and 58 hundredths? Okay. Now I've got to add them together, right? Do you have a question, Chance?
Yeah. I thought that you couldn't line up the decimals.
I'm not. It just happens to be that way on that one. But I didn't actually line them up. It's just the way it turns out. Okay? I'm not really using, they are lined up, but I didn't use that. Because here, it wouldn't be lined up in the answer, would it be? No, and it shouldn't be. So when I add these together then, I can just do it right here. Now when I do addition, I have to line them up, don't I? And 8 plus 7 is 15. That's going to be 12. 8. I get 28 and 25 hundredths. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay. Where we at? Let's see how much more we got here. Let's go ahead and do the story problem, okay?
Okay.
We got a story problem. You buy 2 75 hundredths of a pound of tomatoes. You hand the cashier $10, a $10 bill. How much change do you receive? Okay. What do we need to know first? What do we need to know first, Jaslyn?
How much 1 pound costs?
Or how much all my tomatoes cost, right? So I'm going to take 2 75 hundredths of a pound times $1.89. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to take all of that solution, and I'm going to say 10 minus that. Would that be a true statement?
Yes.
Because I get to pay for it with a $10 bill, but I got to know what it costs. So do the math and tell me what those tomatoes cost. You're doing the math. 2 75 hundredths times $1.89. You're fine. Just multiply. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're not. When we say don't line them up, we're saying. Let me see if there's. We're saying if you have this, that you don't set it up like this. That's not true. This one you're just going to set it up like this. See, I'm not really lining them up. This just happens that they all have the same number of places. Okay. I want to stop you right here, okay? How many of you have multiplied 2 75 hundredths pounds times $1.89? You've got that multiplied. That number's a bigger number than what we want. When you multiply these two together, what do you get? I need somebody to tell me, what do you get when you multiply those two together? Braden?
5 and 9.
It's 1,000 what?
1975 millions.
Okay, so it gets like that, right? Now this is money that we're talking about, right? Do you ever see money at 1,975ths of a dollar? No. So where does money round at? Do you know the answer to that, Tyler?
1 should be a 2.
This should be a 2?
No, it shouldn't.
I don't think so. I think that's correct. Well, It will, but not yet. Where do I round money at? To the nearest what? Hundredth. Good. So I want to round to the nearest hundredth. So I look behind it. It's a 7. So what does the 9 have to do?
Go up.
Go up. And when it goes up, it forces the 1 in the tens place to also go up. So it becomes $5.20. That's what the tomatoes cost. Okay, so I have to do a rounding thing. Okay? I had to round to the 100th place. Now can I figure out how much change they're going to get?
Where'd you get the 20 out of?
They'll get
$4.80. Awesome job. Chloe,
Where did you get the 20 out of?
the 20 cents came from rounding to the nearest hundredth. The 7 bumps the 9. This has to bump to 10. Do you agree? But I can only keep the 0 there, and then I would have to carry the 1 over. So that's where the 20 cents came from. Okay? And if you take $10 minus $5.20, 0 minus 0, I got that. I can't take 2 from nothing. I have to regroup to 9, and this becomes 10. And 10 minus 2 is 8, and 9 minus 5 is 4. Does that make sense? Everybody gets that?
Yep.
Okay, fist to 5. How do you feel about multiplying decimals? Fist to 5. Okay? And I see we need to work with this some. Okay? And so that's where the assignment comes in, so we can practice it. And here is your assignment. Okay? And you have it on your paper.